Welcome back to another episode of Gab to Greatness, the podcast where everyday conversations turn into clarity and purpose. As we close out 2025, this is a special reflection episode. Today's guest is someone incredibly important to me. She's a basketball coach, a mentor to young children, a woman shaped by resilience, and most importantly, my wife and the mother of our children. Please welcome Thallan Walker. This conversation walks through her childhood, the challenges that shaped her, the role basketball has played in her life, and the balance she's building today and the future she's intentionally manifesting. Let's get into it. Thank you, Thallan, for showing up to the podcast. It's really great to see
you. Thank you for having me, Stefon.
All right, so on the show, we always like to start off with an icebreaker. So the one that I have for you is just a way to get my guests comfortable. The icebreaker I have for you is going to be, since this is the end of the year episode, if 2025 had a highlight reel of your life, like a basketball mixtape, what would be your first clip and what would be the last clip for this year?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Gosh, we had so many good moments. I'll probably say the first thing that comes to mind is a combination of your birthday, my birthday, and obviously our daughter Peace's birthday. I feel like we show each other so much love and appreciation on those days. So that I don't know if you could do a combination clip or what's going on. If I had to choose one, I'd probably say Peace's birthday.
Okay.
Because that's our baby. So that was amazing to watch her turn 2 and just like all the milestones she's reached, from going from 6 months to 12 months to 1 to 2. And then, so that's definitely probably the first clip. Her birthday party, all of our friends and family coming together.
What will be the last clip?
The last clip, me and you just went on a wonderful date to go see Zootopia 2. And then we went to Outback. And we were just laughing and joking around, joning the entire time. So that is definitely probably towards the end, especially because it just happened. So
yeah, and it's the end
that was a great date.
Yeah.
Yep. And you said it was top 5 of all of our dates.
Yeah, I do believe that.
For the past 6 years. Yeah.
If you could leave out a moment, but you feel like that moment made you better. So let's say on a basketball clip when somebody crosses over and they miss a shot and they got to take it out of the highlight tape. So what's something that you feel like made you better, but you would leave it out?
I would definitely say, I'm coaching under you. You're the athletic director at the school that I'm coaching at. We've been losing a lot. I'd take those losses out if I had to. I'd take some of them losses out, especially the 30 balls. I'd take some of them 30 balls out if I had to. But, it made us better. But those things hurt,
it made you better as a coach?
I do. I absolutely do. I feel like my whole life I've played on good teams, not to toot my own horn or my team's horns, or I've always played on. I've never been 30 ball in my life, so I think that's something that I needed to learn how to maneuver. I've never been through that. I've never lost by more than maybe I'll give myself 15, 20 maybe.
Now you're definitely tooting your own horn. I got a couple 20 balls for sure.
I ain't had too many. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't had too many.
Well, all right. Moving towards the childhood, we usually like to go through the entire journey, and for our listeners, try to figure out some advice that they could take along the way. So, just thinking about your childhood and your upbringing, you grew up in Detroit and lived in several states after that. What was life like for you as a kid, and how did those early environments shape who you are today?
That's a great question. Obviously, Detroit is like Chirac. Out there. So I didn't live there for too long. You know my story. So around the age of 6, my father was like, I have to get my 2 young kids out of here. So I definitely by that age was used to the environment, um, things that a lot of people would think is, scary or like they feel in danger. I'm kind of like, okay, this is normal, and it's not a good thing, but it toughens you up a little bit. So I'm kind of in a way glad I am from there, if that makes sense. And then I'm also glad I left and was able to experience so many different things. And I have friends who are, still in Detroit and like never left, and like I can just tell that we think differently, you know.
Yeah.
And their fight or flight is on 24/7, and mine's kind of like, okay, I can chill a little bit. So yeah, I love where I'm from. Go blue all day. I don't care. and shortly after that, um, it's hilarious that I'm telling you all this because you know all this. But shortly after that, I went
Well, it's not
to
just for me; it's for
Winston-Salem, North
everybody else.
Carolina. Right, right. But I went to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Black people population 3 or 4, so the ratio, anyways. So yeah, that was actually nice to witness that. The weather was a lot warmer there, so that's kind of where I have all of my core friendships. Ariana, my sister friend, and that is where my mom passed away. So that place holds a special meaning to me as well. That's where she's buried, and then shortly after that, we went to Georgia. We've lived in 3 different parts of Georgia due to my parents being collegiate basketball coaches and having new job opportunities that they, continue to prounce on. So I hate to say unstable, but that's my truth. It was kind of unstable because it was kind of like the second you get comfortable, you had to get up and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Second and we were in North Carolina probably the longest. So I made all my core friendships. I had some friends in the neighborhood, and I got extremely comfortable. So then that comfortability went from, a 10 to a 1 real quick, and then I had to continue to try to get comfortable, try to make more friends. It's so different when you play sports. So I'm making a mark on my team. I'm going from, sitting on the bench to now I'm starting, and then you have to just keep rebuilding that. So it was a lot. My
Yeah.
childhood was a lot, especially with moving from state to state so quickly.
So we can, from what you're saying, it seems like your early environment definitely shaped, you being able to adapt. It sounds like to your different
Absolutely.
environments. So
Absolutely.
you finished that question off with talking about basketball. Basketball has been a part of your life since you could pretty much walk. Before it became competitive, what did the game represent to you as a child? So before it became more of like a business, what would you say it represented to you as a child?
Fun. Like pure joy and fun. When I was younger, and it's funny, when, when it was fun, I was probably like 3 or 4 or 5. So like right after that, I started playing rec league. I started, the equivalent of little league for football. The second I could play, they had me in, and then I grew up with all my brothers, so there was a competitive aspect with that as well. And being the only girl also, and then both of your parents doing such great things with basketball is kind of like a that strictly only fun phase was lasted but so long. So then it's like now you're being compared to your mom and your dad and all your brothers and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. So um, that's another reason, I kind of feel like I need help with coaching because I can't empathize because I had to do it so young. I my brain can't understand why, the kids can't have that competitive aspect in middle school or in high school.
Yeah, for sure.
So but yeah, it was pure joy. It was love. I wanted my room decorated in pink basketballs. Like it was love, honestly. My
Yeah,
first love.
that's a great answer. So moving on, we this is something that I personally know, but the viewers might not know. Um, Unfortunately, you did experience a loss at an early age. So we talked about basketball. We talked about your transition in different states. Um, but you did experience the loss of your mother at a very young age. How did that moment change the way that you viewed the world, um, and also how you viewed yourself? If you don't mind going into that a little bit.
Got you. I feel like when you're a kid, a huge attachment to yourself is your parents, especially when you're that young. I lost her when I was 7, right about to turn 8. So I feel like your whole world is the
Yeah,
2, 3 friends that you're cool with, maybe some teachers, but like at the main focus is your parents. So especially losing my mother, fathers are extremely important, and you know I love my dad. Peace, and our other daughter are gonna love you. But I don't know, it's something about it, like a mother, like the nurturing aspect that I
yeah,
feel like you really need in your younger years of life. So that shaped me very, very quickly into a resilient person, because once it first happened, I'm like, oh, like my life's over. That I can't do anything. I don't know how to turn this laundry machine on. Not that she was just a laundry person, but I don't know. Who's gonna make my lunch? Who's gonna pick me up from school? I had a
yeah,
very active mother. Like how I described to you what I wanted to be is who my mom was through and through. Making t-shirts, you know, for me and Theo's games. Like just very, very active, coming to every game, every PTA meeting. That was her. So losing that amount of she took up a lot of space. So when she was gone, I didn't know what to do with that leftover space. So
yeah,
it was a lot. And then you're 7. So what goes through your brain in those moments, or
yeah,
how do you even as a 7-year old, how do you even deal with that? I remember not crying a lot. I remember kind of making sure my dad was okay, because although I was 7 and that was my mother, I couldn't even fathom losing you, babe. Like so I get that that was a lot for him. So as a 7-year old, I'm like, okay, let me make sure Theo's okay, make sure my dad's okay, you know.
yeah,
So I feel like I pushed my feelings down because that was the easiest thing to do. So that definitely shaped me in a lot of different ways. But all in all, I became more resilient. I became independent. I don't think you should at that age, but God has a plan for everybody. But yeah, had to just take the pros with the cons and keep it pushing.
yeah. Um, I couldn't even imagine going through that, and I feel like looking at you and um, feel like those experiences. We talk about that a lot, and I feel like that shapes who you are as far as a friend, as a mentor, as a coach. Um, which leads me to question, like, when you look back at that, um, and then as far as like losing your mother earlier on, and then now it's teaching you resilience. How do you feel like it shaped you and your ability to show up for others? Because I feel like you are somebody that you go out of your way to make sure that people can count on you and you're there, even if it's for like a shoulder to lean on. Do you feel like that early loss shaped that resilience and how you show up for others? And could you explain that just a little bit?
Absolutely. I give all my glory to God, and then I save a little bit for her, for my mom, because it's like she instilled so much into me by the time that I turned 7. It's unbelievable. Like life skills that I'm using right now as a 26-year-old woman, mother, wife, coach. I can hear her in my head, like things that she would repeat or lessons that she taught me as a 7. It's almost as if she knew we weren't gonna have a lot of time, and she had to teach me these things. So absolutely, she shaped me. Um, while she was here, and then once her presence was taken away from me, that also shaped me in different ways. And then I think a big thing is the way that she passed. So I kind of had to slowly, she had breast cancer, caught it in stage 4. So it was a lot because, It was just one day my mom's good, and she had a cold. That cold turned to the flu. The flu turned into bed rest, and I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
saw her less and less, and seeing her, a former All American with hair touching her, backside, and having like muscles and like being on the thicker side, just turned skinny, losing all of her hair. So it was a lot. So I think the process of her, going to heaven and her even leaving, Earth, that the whole thing just shaped me.
Yeah.
And I think in order to be shaped in a way like that, you have to go through mountains of hurt. And it sucks that you have to, it's so many people have to do it at such a young age. And then you kind of just come out of it so much better. And, I believe that even if she was here, I would be a very good woman. But I think with her not being here, that like forces me to, to your question, show up for people. Because, something that I say to you a lot is, I don't know if she's going to be here tomorrow. I don't know if he's going to be here tomorrow, or, things like that. So tomorrow's not promised. And I truly feel as if one of my purposes on this earth is to be the best friend, mother, sister, wife that could possibly be, and not only reciprocate, but go above and beyond, what people do for me, because it really does fill me with joy, and it makes me feel whole to help people the way that my mom helps people, or the way that people help me,
Yeah.
So it was a lot. A lot shaped it, and I'm definitely who I am today because of that situation, that tragic situation. But I mean, we're here, and I will continue to trust in God.
Yeah, I can tell that, the past experiences definitely the shape even how you think, where other people might be like, oh, and there's tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Where you might think as if like, well, no, they might not be here tomorrow, so let me show up for them today. So thank you for answering that. Moving on to more of now that we're going to transition out of the childhood and kind of go towards more of your identity and moving towards like basketball and how that has shaped you. You told me that you earned a full ride scholarship to play basketball in college. When you initially got those scholarships, what did that moment mean to you personally?
It meant a lot. Ultimately, it meant I did it. I knew that my main goal with basketball was to obtain my degree for free. And I remember my father telling me at a young age, like, I ain't paying for college. You better figure it out. I ain't paying for that. I ain't paying. So I'm like, okay, I really do have to figure this out.
Yeah.
So the grades were there, but not there for me to obtain a full ride somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I let myself. I hate to say it because I coach kids, but I was basketball first, grade second. It was kind of like, okay, I looked at the curriculum for different schools that I was applying to, and exactly what I needed to, get that scholarship. So basketball was a driving force my entire life. So once I got those scholarships, it was like everything I had worked for since I was, age 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It finally paid off. But to my surprise, the work had just begun.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. It was insane. And I remember my junior year of high school, we won the championship, and I wasn't as big of a help to that as I wanted to be. I played, but that's around the time when we just had moved from, I'm an all-star at this school, then I moved to another school, and it's a girl on my team about to go to Kentucky. It's a girl on my team about to go to Alabama. Another one going to Kansas. I'm like, oh, okay, where do I fit in here?
Yeah.
Like, they're all seniors. So I wasn't as big of a help with that, but that championship caused my school, Columbus High, to gain attention from college coaches. So I knew my senior year, okay, I gotta go crazy because now it's just me. All these really, high prospect players are gone. So I did what I had to do, and I got a whole bunch of scholarships. I did, and I'm so very proud of that.
Yeah, so yeah, getting a full ride, but the pressure that's off of you, and not even you. You said your parents said that you had to figure it out.
Yeah.
The relief that they probably got as well, I know,
Right.
makes all those long nights worth it. After
Yes.
you went to college, you said that there was a position change for you as far as I guess your role in basketball. Maybe you were a
Mhm.
big and you went to I want to say you said small forward. Um,
Mhm.
what did that teach you about adaptability and kind of how did that shift and change your identity as well? Like moving from big and your dad trying to teach you Charles Barkley type play style to now
You got a good memory.
you're moving to small forward. Tell us about that position change once you got to college.
Right. Unfortunately, am a product of I'm a product of change. Like I have never been. I'm comfortable now with you, but this is like the first in many many years. I've always had to adapt and adapt and adapt and adapt. So once I got to Grayson College, the JUCO that I played for in Grace or Denison, Texas, and my coach told me, "Thallan, you a three." I was like, "Excuse me, like you had me you recruited me as a four." You know what I'm saying? In our conference that we played in, it's insane. You not well, you obviously have coached JUCO basketball, so you get it. There's so much talent in JUCO basketball, it's insane.
Yeah.
And my 5'11", 6 foot self was tiny. I was an itty bitty thing now. And in high school, I'm like one of the tallest things walking. So then I go here. So it was insane. So I had to figure out different ways to put the ball in the basket. I remember in high school, I could put my forearm in somebody and just shoot one hand, and like
Do a little
with
sky
no
look.
effort. Thank you. Or one power dribble, put my shoulder on somebody and score, and that was it. So now I'm shifting from okay, this I obtained my scholarships as a four, and the things that my father told me, you're gonna get recruited for your shooting ability and your ability to rebound. You see my calves, babe. I could jump, I could touch the backboard. So it's like I'll get rebounds really high. So it's insane. So now that I'm switching to the three, I'm outside of the arc. I got to sprint for those rebounds. Those bigs already down there. So it was like the
Yeah.
things that were my niches. I had to figure out different niches. The thing that I did have that allowed me to be a three, that I could understand why my coach wanted me to be that, was my shooting ability. So that was easy to adapt to. But and then another thing was guarding a three.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like, oh no.
that's a change from being in the post for sure.
Right. Right. So now I'm going from 3/4, denying or fronting to I got to chase this itty bitty thing all around the court.
Yeah.
So the good thing was my coach was very experienced. He told me about this change, um, you know, in preseason. So the way that we had things set up was everybody had different workouts. We all come together at the end, and in preseason we work out as a team. So, but we all had different workouts. So at first I was working out with the bigs. He was like, "You're gonna work out with the bigs at first, then I'm gonna transfer you to the guards." And it's completely different. The running was times 10.
Yep.
The times were lower. So it was hard. It was hard. It was a lot. And I remember him, telling me, "Hey, I need you to lose 20 pounds." And I'm like, "Sir, you want me to change everything?" You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
20 pounds is a big jump.
So, oh my goodness. I lost it, but it was, oh my goodness. And everything had to happen before the season. So preseason, as you know, is in, June, July, like August kind of. And then you start in November. So that was a lot I had to do and learn in November, and then on top of that, he was like, I still want you to play forward too in the middle of the season. I'm like, okay. So then I had to learn, as you know, the different plays and the positions of each play. So I had to know two things for all 20 of our, plays slash
Oh my goodness,
defenses.
yeah.
So it was a lot. It was, it was a lot. I loved it because I felt more versatile within the game, but obviously it was more work. So
Yeah,
it was a
that's
lot.
I feel like your whole story, whether it's basketball or even outside of basketball, has been about like adapting and growing and changing and learning how to
Absolutely.
maneuver. So, which leads us towards the latter part of your basketball career, between your shoulder injury, that I guess the viewers wouldn't really know about, but you did end up having a shoulder injury, and then you had a surgery, and then COVID happened, and your playing career came to like an unexpected stop where you was like, oh, I don't know exactly if this is worth it anymore. How did you how did you emotionally process that transition? Basketball has been something that you've been doing your
Right.
whole life, so for that to happen, then shoulder, then boom, COVID, and now you're thinking about not playing again. So how did you emotionally
Right.
process that transition?
Oh my goodness. It was these are great questions, by the way. Yeah, so I went from, being healthy as a horse. Most I got was a sprained ankle, and I've always had issues with my shoulder, but never to the point where it would actually pop out. It would I think it's called sublux. Not like dislocation, but subluxate or something like that. Where it pops out real quick and it goes back in. So I started feeling that my sophomore year of college, which is when I was playing for Central State University, and I remember in preseason when it started, and I was preparing myself mentally because I'm like, this is supposed to keep happening, and in the moment or during that time period, it wasn't painful, so emotionally I was okay. Okay, I just keep lifting weights, continue to strengthen it. I didn't tell my coach because you know what that leads to. Leads to your coach telling your trainer telling your doctor telling you to sit out. Oh, I'm not doing that. So I continued to adapt, and then I remember one practice, which was probably some months away from our first game, and it popped out, and it would not go back in. And
Man.
I'm just kind of I'm staring there, I'm looking at my coach, and oh god, I hate it because I loved her name was Coach T. I loved her so much, and she just had so many plans for me. Like we had so many conversations about like where I could go. She wanted me to play and then come coach for her. It was like she just believed in me more than probably anybody I know. So when it popped out, I was looking at her. She was like, "That one was wrong," and I was just looking at her like, "It's over with," because she was probably the only person who knew about my shoulder, and she was telling me like the second it gets too much, you need to tell me, and you got to get surgery because it shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So I remember that practice. It popped out. I was going up for a rebound. One of our big girls, trying to get the same rebound, and when she did that, I don't know what happened, but it was down here in my armpit, and it was so painful. And they rushed me to the doctor. I had to get it. They were able to pop it back in, but I had to get surgery to keep it in because it just wanted to, I don't know what happened, all the medical terminology of it, but the cartilage was like worn out and it just wouldn't stay in the socket. So I immediately started crying. I was crying my eyes out in the doctor's office because I knew that they were going to say, you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. So they were kind of trying to, sugarcoat it. Like, oh, yeah, well, all these big words. I'm like, man, just say what you about to say. Like. So, um, one, I love basketball. Two, I understand that if I'm not playing, I don't have that scholarship. So my coach made it to where I could continue to play, keep my scholarship as long as I kept good grades, and work with my team as the statistics professional. So I statted and documented, all of, what the stats are, like rebounding, steals,
Yeah.
scores, stuff like that. And then I was able to get paid for that as well. So to your question, my coach helped me so much emotionally. I wish I was still talking to her today. She helped me so much. It went from crying, breaking down into, those tears in that doctor's office to, okay, well, now I see like a different side of basketball. And me doing those statistics is what caused me to meet our play by play because I was sitting right next to him. So then the play by play was telling me, about how there was an opening for color commentary. So I was like, okay, well, that's another option. So that was kind of in the back of my head. So I knew personally, I wanted to get in and kind of get out basketball in terms of college.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to get my bachelor's degree and I was not someone who wanted to play overseas or go to the WNBA. One, because of the money. We always talk about that. And then two, just because I could feel my body kind of just getting worn out. So
yeah.
That this was pre-COVID. Finally got back on the court and am doing training sessions with my coach. Was doing everything, all the running, all the lifting, but I wasn't doing contact. So I remember we started getting back into that, and the one thing that I was good at, that I felt like nobody could touch me in, was shooting. And my shot was gone. I was bricking after brick after brick after brick. And then went to the locker room, cried my eyes out again. I was like, I'm done. Like, that was the one. It could have been anything else. It could have been ball handling. It could have been like just pain I had to get through. My shot was gone. So I knew I would have to work so hard to get something back that I worked 15 years to obtain. You know what I'm saying? So emotionally it was horrible. And then God was like, boom, COVID. I'm like, cool. So now we're in a place where I can't see my teammates. I can't touch a basketball because I can't go to the gym. They shut the entire campus down and we went completely remote for our studies. So basketball got put onto a back burner, which, I told you prior to, that was my forefront. I was going to make sure I had good grades, but my grades were, I would do bare minimum, and with basketball, I would go above and beyond. So, now I just had to do school. I couldn't touch a ball. I'm trying to get my shot back. We didn't have any outdoor courts, so I'm just in my bed, just shooting straight up, trying to get my shot back.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time we could come back for one of our practices or open gym, we had to wear a mask. And we're all just dying under these masks. Like, we can't breathe and run at the same time. So, but that was the only way that our, the staff would allow us to go in the gym. So, anywho, to make a long story short, after that, I was shooting again. My shot was a little bit better, but it was still broke. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. They gave us an option. They said, you can still finish out, this year. Mind you, so that was sophomore year. So now I'm in my junior year. You can finish this year out and still have your scholarship paid for because we already had all signed our contracts and not play. That's your choice. So I remember me and my homegirls or my teammates, we were all on a group FaceTime, and everybody's pretty much saying, "Nah, we playing. Like, screw that. We playing." And I remember, Dalen, like my best friend from that school, who was our shooting guard. She was like, "Thallan," because I was the only one who wasn't talking. I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm done, y'all." And everybody was like, "No, like, you need to keep playing." Like, no, they did not want me to quit. And I was like, my main focus was to get my degree. And when it became too hard, not only physically, but emotionally, I kind of want to wipe my hands clean. I'm like, I lost my shot. I'm not in shape. I done lost all this weight. And then I had to, sit on the side for so long. And then I found a new love in commentating. So I just felt my life it was just shifting into a whole different direction. You know how me and you always say things that make sense or things that you should be doing is gonna fit. It's gonna be like a puzzle piece. If you gotta force it, it's probably not for you. You know, so it was a lot. That was that whole experience, and then put COVID on top, and then for our committee to say, "Hey, you can still have your scholarship. You don't got to play." I was kind of like, well, "What choice am I left with?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I could have played. I could have, um, and it ended up being the right decision because that same year we got a new coach. They fired our men's coach, which but the viewers don't know. Me and my brother played at the same school, both for basketball. They fired the men's coach and they fired the women's coach as well. And the women's coach said, "I'm bringing my own team." So she kicked everybody off anyway. They played 3 games. They fired our coaches, and then she had people who she had already recruited and brought them in. And I think she only kept Dalen and like 2 others.
Yeah.
So the other 13 girls are off the team. So it's crazy because I made that decision and everybody was mad at me, including my brother, including my dad, including all my teammates, because they're telling me I basically gave up, on myself and on them. And then this happened later on. So I was kind of like, I feel like I made the right decision because now I'm already 10 steps ahead of figuring out what I was going to do next, especially with the commentating. And I was doing that. I was doing football games while they're in practice, and then they still got kicked off anyway. So it was a whole ordeal.
So,
Like,
as far as like moving on into more of your career and the evolution of that life after basketball, you just told us that you explored color commentary, and then now you are coaching after your stint with basketball. What pulled you most toward coaching and working with kids? Was it just because, I offered you, or is that something I offered it to you, or is that something that you had seen yourself doing as far as working with kids?
I don't know. I saw myself doing that. I will forever be grateful for you offering me that. But no, that was something I've been wanting to do. And mainly because I love kids. I love kids. You know this better than anyone. I'm a big kid myself. So I love that era of basketball to where it's more fun than business, if that makes sense. So while basketball should still be, what's a good word? Basketball should still be structured, because it's competition. It's a sport. This isn't like a party club. It's a sport. So there should be some type of structure. It's still more fun for the kids. They get on the court. They don't feel as much pressure. They are strictly there because they love basketball. They're not so much thinking of, oh my God, Clemson's going to be here. Like Clemson's coach is going to be here. I have to get 30. They're kind of just like, okay, well, now I can dribble my left hand. Let me see what this left layup look like. Just the process of growing. Like you're in the middle of those growing phases of basketball. I was in love with that. That's when I had the most fun, and that's when I was lacing my shoes up with a smile on my face. And then slowly after that, it turns into something else, which for me personally, my experience, it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
So,
yeah. So one thing that you do brag about as well when you're talking about like your evolution is you saying one of your proudest accomplishments is building a family. How has motherhood, when you talk about your career and just the evolution of you, and how has that changed your definition of what you view success as?
Yeah. I especially the story and everything we just talked about with my mother, I knew I always wanted to be a mother. I've always known that I wanted to fall in love, I wanted to get married, and then venture into motherhood. So that was something I've been wanting to do my whole life. I didn't know it was gonna be this early. You swept me off my feet pretty quick. I didn't know it was gonna be. I was pregnant at 23, married at 22. I didn't know that was gonna happen. But yeah, that is something I definitely feel is my greatest accomplishment. Not only being a mother, but creating a life, allowing my body to do what a woman's body should, and nursing this itty bitty thing that goes from a peanut to a whole human, and then successfully birthing it with my health and the baby's health intact. It's amazing. It's like a whole. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I don't want to get to the point where I feel as if I'm bragging. I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't able to have kids or what have you, but it's my greatest accomplishment. It's what I'm most proud of. Um, you know, besides being your wife, obviously. But I love being a mom. Um, there's so many things I learned within motherhood, and one of the biggest things is consistency. So I feel like I've had to have that my whole life, but now my mental is structured a different way. Not as if I lost myself, but I've gained so many different layers now that I'm a mom. And you know how it is. Before you were a dad, you were kind of, or before me even, you're just doing stuff kind of for you. And then you met me and you're like, okay, I'm doing it for my wife. And now you have this little human you have to completely think for right now, anyways. And you're doing it for them, you're doing it for me. So it's a lot. It's beautiful. I'm so proud to be a mom. That's why I told you Mother's Day I want like a sweatshirt with mom right here, like what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
little mom jewelry, and I love being a mom. It's the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Uh, so yeah, with motherhood, and you just talked about how now, like how we do things changes and how it shifts. Um, that leads me to my next question, which is like the balance. Um, with you being a wife, a mom, you know, um, even being, a daughter or a sister, how do you balance being all of those things while still honoring like your own personal goals? How do you maneuver through that challenge of balancing everything?
Well, to be completely honest with you, at first I didn't maneuver through it. At first it was kind of I'm a mother and a wife, and that's kind of it right now. And I know that, of course, there was probably different ways to do that. There are probably mothers who do it differently. When Peace came out, I was tunnel vision, and really, you don't really have a choice but to if you don't have a nanny or a daycare or things of that sort. So I'm very now I feel like I'm balancing more. Like, okay, now I'm bringing in some money. Okay, now I realize I love kids and I love basketball too much to stay away from it. Now I'm coaching basketball. Things of that sort, or learning how to continue to give you what you need. Like, do my wifely duties, like our roles that we have established within our relationship. I need to come home. Like, I know that I need to be home at this time. I want to make sure I always make sure you're fed. That's like one of my things. I always got to make sure my man's fed. Things like that. Or I let you sit on the couch and I bring you your, food and drinks and stuff. Or I bartender it up for you or whatever. So it was
Say
a
no to alcohol,
lot.
kids.
Say no to alcohol. It was a lot though. At first I did not balance, babe. I did not balance. It was straight peace, and I was like, oh, dang, I didn't eat for 24 hours. Let me put something in my system,
Definitely.
So now it's amazing how, again, my entire life has been adapting. But this is the one thing that shook me up, I feel as if motherhood. It was like,
Yeah, you
you
can't
think you
plan
know
for
what it's
motherhood.
about, you can't plan for it, right? And it's like I think I thought I knew what motherhood was. I see all these moms, but then when you actually have to do it, there's so many invisible struggles, silent struggles. You know me as a person. I kind of like to deal with things internally, which isn't the healthiest thing to do. And then I finally am like, hey, I've been struggling for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's, and you know, I feel as if I need to get better at that, especially because we're about to have two women that we're raising. So I was not balancing. Now I am, and it feels so much better now because I cannot show up for y'all the way that I want to if I don't show up for myself. So the fact that I'm now, you know, I keep my nails clean and keep my little hair done, stay, you know, try to stay cute and um pursuing my career goals. Like now I can see that that's helping all of us, like as a unit, you know.
Yeah. Um, oh, but just actually, we got some water. Uh,
Thanks, Beb.
when we talk about, I'm gonna reference basketball a lot just because that's pretty much our entire lives.
That's my life, man.
So when you think about basketball and the lessons that it's taught you, what lessons from basketball show up the most in how you approach parenting and in everyday life?
Discipline is the biggest one. Um, if basketball taught me anything, it's critical thinking skills, discipline, teamwork, um, you know, those core values that I took from basketball and that has not only shaped me into who I am, but shaped me into how I want to raise our children. And, you know, we always joke around, but we're serious. We're like, our kids gonna play something. They don't gotta be basketball. We ain't gotta force them to play basketball. They're gonna play something. And I think sports do so much teaching, especially when, you know, you talk to our kids when we were at the gym and you're trying to get them to listen to me more. You were saying I'm their parent for right now. You know what I'm saying? For these 2 hours that we're practicing, and then they're gonna go home to their parents. So sports, they shape and build your character more than I think we give it credit for.
Yeah.
Basketball, I if I didn't play basketball, I wouldn't be me. I don't know if we I hope we'd be together, but I just wouldn't be me if it wasn't for playing basketball, which led to refing basketball, which led to being a color commentator, which led to being a coach. It's just so many different values that I hold so near and dear to my heart. And I feel like the biggest thing with me is absolutely like those critical thinking skills, like me to be able to adapt and think on my toes. And, you know, with basketball, it's not like you always are running a play. It's like, okay, there's a fast break now. Or they haven't been passed to, you know, this power forward all game. Now they just passed to her. What do I need to do? Oh my gosh, she can also shoot. You know, it's like different things that you gotta just continue to shift your mental and figure out different situations for, you know, the betterment of your team plus you. So it's just insane. It's I think every kid should play some type of sport, even if it's chess club. It's something something competitive that forces you to have to make those decisions because it ultimately transferred into real life situations, you know?
Yeah,
I want peace. Yeah.
Yeah, I always say that that's sports transition into like life skills. That's why
they do.
Even that's why I want to be athletic director. I want to give kids more opportunity to have chances to do these life skills. Coaches are like second fathers and mothers, and I feel like they can reiterate those things that even if you're not learning them at school, like we have a couple kids that I feel like we're teaching the life skills to them that they might not be getting elsewhere. But moving on, this is gonna go more towards your own like self awareness and the personality that I grew to love. I feel like, you know, you describe you when I asked you about yourself, or even how you wrote about yourself in the introductory, you describe yourself as warm, easygoing, and goofy. I do see those things from you. I've seen those things since the day that we started talking. Um, and you are easygoing all the way up until competition starts. Once the competition starts, then everything changes. So, my
You
question
better
to
know
you,
your wife.
my question to you is, like, where does that competitive fire come from? Did you have a mentor or somebody that taught you? I want to say that your dad is probably going to be somewhere in this answer, but I do want to say,
Absolutely. Put
I
him
do
at the
want to
top.
ask you, where does that competitive fire come from?
Yes. Okay. So, to add to what you just said, that's one of the reasons I married you is because we are both easygoing people, and then once it's competition, it's like, all right, like we are tunnel vision with that. And I've been like that my whole life, and then to have met you, I was like, wow, okay, this is my man. Anywho, so my dad, you made that joke because you know that it's so he is just such a pivotal factor in terms of competition, and everything was competition. Like, Thallan, why you let Theo finish his grits first? Like, something like something stupid. I'm just like, oh, let me hurry up, like, or how I write my name on like when we get takeout trays when we go on dates or go
Yeah.
out to eat, and I put my name. The second my junk touched the fridge, Theo or Jason or my dad is trying to eat my food. So I would not even be hungry. I'm like, I want to finish this hibachi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I would
Like,
just
please let me
so
finish this.
please, y'all don't even like shrimp. Why do you want my hibachi shrimp? So it was just crazy. They felt some type of I don't know. Like I think that men seem more competitive. That's my personal opinion. Or maybe because I grew up around men. It's like I grew up with my two brothers, really, which was five brothers, but they moved out. And then, my father and my stepmother, who's also very competitive. Like, she coaches for Mississippi State. So it's kind of like all of us, we are a basketball family. Jason chose his own route with soccer, which ultimately led, to his success because he found out that he's, the black Messi. So I'm like, cool, you know what I'm saying? But we're a basketball family, so basketball is, I'm gonna be biased, one of the most competitive sports to me. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
you
saying?
done started something there.
It's pretty biased. Like, sorry, sue me. I love basketball. I think it's so competitive. That's one of the reasons I love it, is because I feel as if competitive natures push you. You have to continue to do better. You don't have a choice but to do better. So I grew up in a basketball family. That's where that came from. And then it would shift from off the court. So we're going to the car, and I remember just one stupid little story. We finished one of my AAU tournaments. I just played I think 4 games in a day, and we're going home. My two brothers were like jogging up this hill where our car was parked. My dad was like, "Don't let them beat you." I was like, "Dude, I just played 4 games. I'm fine with being like, I'm me personally, I'm fine with being beat right now." And you think I'm competitive? My family's their times 10. They'll get mad. They start arguments. So my dad's like, "Don't let them beat you up that hill. Like, show them you did." I'm all right, bro. So I got my big old book bag all my basketball stuff. I'm sprinting, trying to beat my brothers. So it's crazy. It shifted. It ultimately came from basketball and my basketball family, and it shifted off. And now it's just like, how you be walking from TJ Maxx or something to the car, and I'm like, speed walking,
Yeah,
and
you
you're
be
like,
trying
why
to
you
beat me
walk?
randomly.
Yeah. And it's funny, but ultimately I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, everything is not a competition. But
Yeah.
I feel like me and you are gonna instill that into our daughters because we're both like that. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's I feel like I thought I was competitive until I met your dad, and I realized there's levels to it, and I
There's
feel like
levels.
he made me even more competitive at times, and that's
Yeah.
probably why these kids don't like me now, because I learned from your dad.
It's crazy. Yeah,
But
and then even dad. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, we talked about you talked about who you thought your biggest teacher was, and I know you just gave a nod to your dad, and you also said that you feel like life is your biggest teacher. What's
Mm-hmm.
what's one lesson life keeps reminding you of? What do you think, like, that it just a lesson that it just keeps being brought to your attention?
Mm. This will go back to being competitive. Um, One thing I continue to tell myself in my brain is you're not behind. You're on you're right on time for this season. Like I'm doing things for a reason, for a season. I feel as if when you are competitive, there's a lot of comparing there. So, if I had 16 points, you had 15. Like, I had 16. You know what I'm saying? So you're it's comparing. So when you are in, those states of comparison, it's like, okay, I'm behind. Or, why is I'm 26? Why is my 26-year-old friend on a boat going to her house? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yep.
I'm sure you've heard that. So that's one of the things that life has taught me is to allow myself grace, um, to understand that there are different seasons for every individual. And the person that I am, I have enough faith in myself and God's purpose for me that I am on the right track. That I not might need to make a tweak here and there. Even you, something that you've done for me has helped me so much financially and helped me learn how to save and things like that. And, I credit that to you, but I just know now I have so much more confidence in what I'm doing, where I'm going. I used to always have an insecurity of feeling behind or people are doing better than me.
Yeah.
So that's a huge lesson that life has taught me. And I think you unfortunately have to learn that by getting knocked down and having to continue to get back up. Um, I will always, even with my mother, like on Mother's Day when I was a kid, I would just compare myself to other girls who had their mama and they posted on social media and stuff. I'm just kind of like, dang, I just kind of feel like, behind, or like I didn't have as much time as they did, or, I'm stealing my joy because I'm doing so much comparing
Yeah.
to different people. So I've definitely learned, one, to understand my process, my purpose within this, this world, especially what God has for me. I'm a Christian, so I credit everything to Him. And, two, just understanding like my seasons and my reasons for what I'm doing and trying to focus on me more so than, you know, comparison. So that's a huge lesson I've learned. It's a hard one, but once you go through a lot, you go through certain things, and um, you have to adapt so much. That's something you're just gonna learn. It's gonna stick. It's not something that someone needs to continue to repeat to you. You know.
Yeah, I definitely
So
agree with that.
that's
Comparison. I try not to compare myself to anybody because the next man could be going through 10 times worse, but making it look better. So like
absolutely.
I don't even try because you just never know. Like people look at me and be like, you know, I got it all together, but I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I try not to even try to put myself in that mode because you know you lead yourself to overthink and stuff like that, and you don't even want to
Absolutely.
do that. But as you know, 2025 comes to a close. What is something that you feel like you are going to be intentionally trying to leave behind in as you step into 2026? So that could be, you know, like how you said, it could be comparison. It could be, you know,
Mm-hmm.
certain like doubt, self-doubt or something like that. Like what is something intentionally that you want to leave behind as you step into 2026?
Animosity is a big one. Animosity, I would say underlying resentment that I continue to fight and tell myself that I don't have, but deep down I know that I have it, whether it's to family members, whether it's to people who I feel as if have, you know, done me wrong in any type of way. I want to let go of all of that because it is not benefiting me. If it's not benefiting me, it's not benefiting you, it's not benefiting peace or, this baby in my stomach. It's not benefiting our family. So that's a huge thing that I continue to pray on is to let the past be in the past, even from when I was 7. And my mom, it's something you can't really get over, but I want to be able to shift my mindset in a way where it is only benefiting me and it will not be to my detriment. Um, I want to leave things in the past. That, what you just said, any type of animosity, any type of, I don't think I have any of this, but again, like jealousy, any negative, emotional aspects within myself, I want that gone. 2026, I'm trying to, like, I feel as if I'm doing great with my life. Like, I have you, and it's just so many things to be grateful for. I don't want to take up any space with those emotions. I want my heart to be filled with, the better things. And, like, I'd rather be grateful for more things than I'm holding animosity towards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want to leave that. I want to leave any type of beef. If I got beef, and sometimes you don't know you have it. Sometimes it's deep within you. And, you may just see a picture of somebody and just randomly get like, oh. Yeah. You're like, okay, I didn't know I had that. You know what I'm saying? So, known and unknown impurities in my heart, I want gone.
So, yeah, looking towards the future and trying to leave all that stuff behind. What is something that you're looking forward to manifesting in the future? It could be next year, it could be in the next 3 years, the next 5 years. This is the part that I like to talk about just because this is something that you can look back on and say, I spoke this into existence, or I talked about it, and now you have a chance to see it through and then look back and be like, well, I talked about this 3 years ago, and I'm working towards it now. What is something that you see your future self like envisioning, manifesting now? It could be for your family, your career, your sanity. What is something that you are like looking forward to manifesting now and speaking into existence?
I know my 2 most important jobs on this planet is being a mother and a wife. So those are the 2 things I'm always going to want to do better. You always tell me how good of a wife, how good of a mother I am. And I believe you, and I believe that those emotions that you express to me are genuine. I always feel as if there's something I could do better. So I want to be I want to manifest being an even better wife. I want to manifest being an even better mother, especially now that we're about to have 2. That's family-wise. That's the first thing that came to my mind and heart. Other than that, I am manifesting money. I'm not gonna lie. I know that my plans for us in terms of me being the mother that I want to be and being as present as I want to be, but also helping financially, because you the big dog on that. But I want to be here if you need me, or like even if it's to build our savings. I want both, and I have been continued to tell I can't get both. You either need to put them kids in daycare and see them at night and work, or you need to either not bring in no money. I think I can have both, and I'm manifesting that I will have both for the betterment of our family, for the betterment of what you just said, sanity.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to go too literal, but the financial or the career things that I have brewing up. So I manifest that for us, for our family, for me as a mother, wife, and for me to succeed within that goal of being able to take care of my babies and my husband and still help financially so that we can be where we want to be, because we have so many plans that, you know, we are but so far away from. So
Yeah, and I definitely see
I
that.
manifest I manifest that.
Yeah, I think it's all within your grasp. You definitely have the knowledge and the resources available. So I know that the things that you're manifesting is it's only a certain amount of time that it'll take, and uh, we'll be exactly where we want to be. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So as we're gonna close, and I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions. Um, this is the part where you can spread your knowledge to the viewers that might um, that this might impact. You never know what these words might say or mean to somebody that's listening. So for someone listening who feels stuck, grieving, or uncertain right now where they're at, what would you want them to hear right now?
um I want them to hear what I needed to hear, which was, your past does not make you. You are not what you go through. Um, and I don't know what your faith is or what you believe in, but use that as an anchor to get you through, because there is another side to, the bad. There is a hill, another hill to climb. There's always going to be a mountain to go up. So you just have to understand that there are different vices, there are different, you know, faiths, things that will help guide you through that. So you don't have to do it alone. You are never alone. Um, choose yourself. Choose the best options for yourself. It's not selfish. It's prioritizing, you and your boundaries and what you believe in. So I feel as if, especially, I see it personally so much in black men. It's like y'all think that y'all are alone and y'all have to fight things internally. And, you don't, I don't know if you feel as if you don't deserve to spread, or to share, or you feel as if, you're a man and you need to handle it by yourself, but you are never alone. So you know who it is that you can lean on, and, you know, say you are a Christian, give it to God, because it's too big for you, So that's what I would say, because that's what I needed to hear, you know, so long ago.
Yeah, that's great advice. My advice: black men don't share to black women because they'll use it again. I'm just playing.
You know
uh,
what? You're right. You
but
stupid.
what's one small step people can take today towards growth or balance? What if you could tell them just one small step that somebody could take? It doesn't have to be huge. What is something that you feel like a step that you could take towards growth or balance that might have worked for you?
The biggest thing is to understand and appreciate your productivity. You need to understand that perfection is a level that is unattainable. You need to be more worried about progress. So whether that is, maybe journaling, babe, that's something that is big for me. Writing down your goals and continuing to make those tick marks next to them. In terms of the ones that you have achieved, you need to have short-term goals and long-term. So right now you shouldn't be like, oh, I want to boat in my backyard right now. Maybe just plan on, plan on, hey, I want to save $5 a week. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. Something that you could start off with that to others may seem small, but to you, you're viewing it as progress over perfection. Perfection is unattainable. So focus on your progress, and focus, you know, clearly on where you want to go and how you want to get there. So something that I do that's really small that you can start today is to journal. Just, Even if it's a piece of paper, you don't gotta go on Amazon and get a really fancy journal with all these fancy pens. Get a piece of paper,
Yep.
write it down so that it's physical. I know that we live in a world of technology. Have something physical that you can touch and look at and understand and just comprehend that, okay, I've made some type of progress, which is good enough for me, you know? So, and then continue to gradually go in that direction.
Well, that was some really wise words. I appreciate you for answering that, and I do believe that somebody listening can learn from the things that you're saying. Everything that you're saying is attainable. So remember, if you're listening to this and you can use anything that was said today, uh, just make sure that you put it into action, because things like words without action is meaningless. So to close out, this podcast is Gab to Greatness, where we talk and manifest things and turn it into what we consider greatness. And the greatness doesn't have to be defined by your peers. It could be what you define as greatness. So to close it out, I do want to ask you, what does greatness mean to you in this season of your life? And that term, since podcast isn't it called Gab to Greatness, I like to hear what my the people that
So
I'm asking
greatness,
greatness means.
yeah. So what does greatness mean to me in this season of my life?
Yeah.
I think I think the thing that I said before, which is progression. Um, the continuance of me making progress in areas that I know will not only benefit myself but my family, which is my first priority. It don't get no greater than that. It doesn't get any greater than that. So, a goal that my husband had was to start his own podcast. That's what we're doing right now. That's what this is. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta shout you out, babe. I'm immensely proud of you and everything that you do for this family, everything that you do for me. And I just want to let you know how much I love you. And this podcast is amazing. Your questions were amazing. The way that you came back here and put my laptop together and your laptop, it's amazing. So progress is greatness. Stefon Walker is greatness.
But this podcast is supposed to be about you, so you made it about me. Thank you, babe.
I can shout my man out.
I appreciate it. But yeah, this has been a great podcast, and thank you for. I'm saying you just got off of work and just did an hour-long podcast with me, so that just shows you how much you love me. So thank you so much. I think this went well. All the stuff I feel like. I know I'm being biased here, but I think people can learn from your story. Because you just at a very young age, you have things that made you have to grow up. And then still turn into the person that you are today. I can't tell you how proud I am of you. I can't really put it into words, but obviously I made you my wife, so you know that.
You gotta be pretty proud.
Yeah, so
and you made me the mother of your children.
Exactly. So, yeah, awesome wife, amazing mother. You're my best friend. Feel like we talk about anything. So I thank you so much for coming to this podcast. For those that are listening, if you enjoyed any part of this interview, please like and subscribe. This has been a special end of the year conversation on Gab to Greatness. As we head into the new year, remember your story doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. I think what we just heard just now just reiterates that you progressed. Speak things into life. That's what we're all about in this podcast. So once again, thank you, Thallan Walker, for coming up to the podcast and sitting down and talking with us. And we will see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.